Hey everyone, Matt Barnsley here from the Render Garage. Here to introduce you to our A9X HDT Project Tirana here. I've owned this car since I was 16 and over the years it's had a couple of different looks. From the factory in 1976, it was Aquarius Blue with a 253 and Aussie 4-speed. It was pretty rough when I bought it though. It had a dodgy blue paint job and rust in all the usual spots. It was a perfect car for me to get my hands dirty and learn about cars. With the help of my dad and friends that I made online through car forums like GMH Tirana, I managed to build a pretty cool car to cruise around in on my P-plates. A couple of years later, I bought the custom plates Mr. LX SS for it and decided it was time for a bit of a freshen up. I gave it a new lick of paint, I fitted the combos, and at this time it was now running a 290 cube stroke 253. Once I was off my P's, I started to build the engine that's currently in it. One of my mates worked at Speedworks Engines in Ringwood, and he built the 355 that's currently in there. Since then though, the car hasn't seen much action as it took a bit of a back seat to business and family life. But that brings us to now. The body and paint were starting to show their age. It would have been great to give it the bare metal resto that it deserves, but the budget just doesn't allow for that right now. So I decided to come up with something that would work with what I've got. That's where the A9X HDT idea was born. I wanted something that looked like a barn find of Brockie's legendary 1979 Bathurst winning Tirana, but with a Render Garage twist. I started by trialing the idea on some renders to see how my logo would look as the main sponsor, and fine-tuned it until I was happy. I then did some research into patina car wraps from around the world to see how other people were doing it. I came across this guy in the States by the name of Scott Keppel, or Skeppel as he's known online. His work just blew me away. The detail that he was putting into his designs were just next level. So I reached out to see if he would help, and he was more than happy to get involved. He worked his magic and came up with a design that absolutely blew me away. It was everything that I wanted. From here, I then created the renders that you may have seen on our social media channels. That brings us to here. We're here at Best Digital Signs in Melbourne. We're about to get stuck into it all and turn our renders into a reality. You may notice the car looks a little bit different to the old photos of it. There are a few spots of rust around the car that I really wanted to get tidied up, as well as a couple of other things. So I had my good mate Lee Burke at Burke's Bodyworks give it a bit of a freshen up in readiness for the wrap. So let's get stuck into it all and see how it's done. I'm here with Pete Cornish from Best Digital Signs. As you can see, we've got some prints laid out in front of us here that the guys have been busy printing. It's a bit of a process to get to this stage. So Pete, do you want to give us a bit of a rundown of how we've gotten to this stage with some of these prints?
Cool. So these were printed on our Roland VG2 640 printer. It is an eco-solvent based printer, so it does need to dry after being printed.
Yep. What does that allow? The drying of the inks, what does that all mean?
So it means the solvents can basically leave the film surface, and that way when it comes to laminating and keeping those, making it color fast, you're not trapping the solvents in under the laminate.
Okay. Now the product, what's the vinyl that we're using? Is this a special automotive wrapping product?
Yep. So it is the new 3M AJ280 wrapping film.
Yep. And
then we're using the matching laminate for that as well.
So laminate, what's the benefit? I know, like I can see the one's a matte finish here, and this one doesn't have a laminate on it yet.
Yep.
What's the benefit besides the visual look of it? What's the benefits of laminating?
So laminating the print keeps it color fast.
Yep.
It also means that it's safe from the UV rays from the sun. You can then wash it and not worry that you're going to rub ink off or it's going to fail.
So it's kind of like the clear coat on my car. Is that
Yeah, completely like the clear
like
coat.
that?
Yeah.
So once these are all finished and this one's laminated, what's the process then of getting this onto the car and installed to look like our renders?
Yep. So next what we'll do is we'll fully dismantle the car. We'll remove door handles, flares, mirrors, front and rear bars.
And what's the purpose of that? Like taking the extra time, but what does that allow you to do?
It gets you a better seam-free finish.
Yeah.
Because you've got so many different components to work around. Removing those parts mean that you can get a lot more coverage.
Yeah, and get just a better finish all around.
Completely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so this one will go down first.
Yep.
And then I saw there was some prints before, the big red prints.
Yep.
they like overlay on top so you can get it all in the right spot?
Yeah, so the red will overlay onto the white.
Yep.
We'll use knifeless tape to
Yep.
create some lines.
Yep.
Because it is a very detailed wrap there with a lot of lines to follow.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll knifeless tape them out. And
What is, for people that don't understand, what is knifeless tape?
So it's tape with a filament on the middle of the tape,
Yep.
and then you pull the filament out after you've wrapped,
Yep.
and it'll basically cut your vinyl out, and means there's no blades touching the car.
Oh, cool. So it's kind of like you see like guys when they paint a car, they'll mask the car up.
Yep.
It's basically you're doing that and then laying the vinyl over the top and then pulling
You're
it through
pulling
and
a filament out.
and it
It's-
cuts it perfectly.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a fishing line that you're pulling through.
Oh, that's cool. So that'll allow you then to get all the red and these logos. The logos they'll be cut out on the machine before
Yep.
they go on, won't they?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
So it's
yeah.
just the red that'll be.
The red will be have the knifeless tape lines. There's the black as well.
the black,
that'll
yeah.
have to go down as well.
Yep.
For around the windows as well as the lower part of the rear section.
Well, it looks like you got a lot of work ahead of you. So once I guess all this is printed, you can get stuck into putting it on the car.
Yep.
All the best.
Yeah. Thank you.
here with Pete, who has all but completed the car here, and as you can see, it just looks amazing. I'm so happy with how good it looks in the flesh and how close it actually looks to my renders. Pete, you've done an amazing job, mate. Credit to you.
Thanks, mate. It's been a big challenge and a lot of things that I've had to sort of work out along the way, and a lot of areas that need to line up and be tweaked here and there. But yeah, it's been a real fun challenge, and yeah, I'm glad to see that it's complete and everything lines up where it's meant to go.
Yeah, you and you guys have done an amazing job, so hats off to you.
Thanks.
Let's start her up, get her outside, and see how it looks in the sun.
Yeah, let's do it.
So what do you think? If you've enjoyed watching, make sure you hit like, feel free to share the video wherever you want. I'm going to be trying to get the car to as many events as I can over the next couple of months, so keep an eye out for it, and if you see the car, come up, say good day, check it out, take as many photos, videos as you want on it, and feel free to tag us on social media. Finally, a huge thanks to Best Digital Signs, who've just done an amazing job on the car. I can't thank them enough. Make sure you also check out their social media channels, link up with them. Also check out Best Classic Customs, which is their car modifying side of the business. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at an event soon.